session, we look at the price elasticity of demand for hotel stay. The formula for price elasticity of demand is percent change in quantity demand over percent change in price. From the given data, price increased by 12%, quantity demand decreased by 4%. So the calculation is 4% over 12% is 0.33. Since 0.33 is less than 1, the demand is inelastic. This means that even price change, the effect on quantity demand is small. For hotels, this could be because people still need a place to stay regardless of price change. Now, let's see how household income affect price elasticity for tourism service. When household income increase, people have more money to spend on tourism. If tourism services are seen as luxury goods, their demands becomes more elastic, such as more than one. This means when price change, demand change significantly. Consumer will also be more responsive to price change because they have more option and flexibility in their budget. So, let's move to the degrees of responsive in price elasticity of demand for hotel. Change in price of the goods causes a smaller percentage change in the quantity demand. Inelastic demand means that when the price of a good change, the quantity demand change by a smaller percentage. This happens because consumers still need the product despite price fluctuation. For example, petrol. Petrol has an inelastic demand. Even if the price increase, people still buy petrol because they still use it for transportation. However, they might reduce their usage slightly, but not significantly. So, graphically, in the demand curve, for inelastic goods has a slipper slope, meaning quantity demand doesn't change much even when the price changes. So, price elasticity along demand curve are not very responsive. For example, if the price of petrol increase, people might reduce unnecessary trade, but they still need to buy petrol. The demand curve of inelastic goods is steep, showing that quantity demand doesn't drop significantly even when the price rise.
Moving on, question 2, I will be discussing on how changes in income affect the demand for imported cars, particularly in the context of Malaysia's economic growth. To begin, let's define income elasticity of demand, also known as YED. So YED measures how the quantity demanded of goods respond to changes in income. The formula is percentage against in quantity demanded over percentage change in income. For imported cars, we are given 12% of change in quantity demanded and 8% of change in income. By using the formula, we managed to calculate the YED, which is equal to 1.5. Now, since the income elasticity of demand is greater than 1, imported cars are considered as luxury goods. This means that demand for imported cars increases as household income rises. So these are the impact of income growth on demand for luxury goods. According to the recent reports, Malaysia's economy outperformed expectations in Q3 2024. This strong growth typically leads to rising household incomes. Given the YED of 1.5, this means that even a small increase in income can lead to significant rise in demand for imported cars. So what are the potential effects? The first one is higher demand for luxury goods. As income rises, consumers may allocate more of their earnings towards non-essential items like imported cars. The second one, boost in luxury car sales. Dealerships and manufacturers of luxury vehicles may see a surge in demands. The third one, increase in imports. Since imported cars are foreign-made, Malaysia may experience higher import expenditures, which could impact the trade balance. And the last one, market expansion. Luxury car brands may invest in marketing and introduce new models to attract more buyers. So in conclusion, if Malaysia's economic growth leads to rising household incomes, we can expect a significant increase in demand for imported cars due to their high income elasticity increases as household income rises. The degrees of responsiveness in income elasticity of demand for imported cars is elastic due to the reason of YED being greater than 1. It happens when a change in the consumer's income causes a bigger percentage change in quantity demanded. Since imported cars are considered as luxury goods, this is the shape of demand curve. There's an increase in income from Y1 to Y2 leads to an increase in quantity demanded from QD1 to QD2, but the increase in the quantity demanded is more than the increase in income.
So, let's move on to the question 3. I'll be talking about how change in the price of steel affect the demand for aluminium using the cross price elasticity of demand, or we call SCD. To begin, what is SCD? SCD measures how the demand for the one product changes when the price of another product changes. The formula is simple. It is a percentage change in the demand for one product divided by the percentage change in the price of other product. In this case, the quantity of aluminium demand increased by 10% and the price of steel increased by 50%. When we plug this number into the formula, we get the 10% divided by 50%, which gives us an SCD value of 0.67. Now, what does this value of 0.67 tell us? A positive SCD means that steel and aluminium are substitutes. When the steel becomes more expensive, people and businesses switch to using aluminium instead. However, the value is less than 1, so the demand for aluminium only increases moderately. This means the response to the steel price increases is very strong. So, how does this work in practice? The 10% increase in aluminium demand shows a substitution effect. People and companies are choosing aluminium over steel because the steel price went up by 50%. But this substitution has a limit. The relatively low elasticity of 0.67 means that switching to the aluminium isn't always easy. For example, steel and aluminium are used differently in some industries, and switching can sometimes cost more. Factors like availability, cost, and how well aluminium works in the place of a steel all play a big role in whether businesses can actually make the switch. Flexible material sourcing manufacturers often rely on alternative material to manage the cost during price fluctuation. When the steel price rises, aluminium may be used instead, but this is depend on its properties and industrial flexibility. According to the book Principle of Economics by Sarima Amanshah, substitution depends on the factors like material availability and production compatibility. Let's take a look at a positive cross elasticity using steel and aluminium as an example. This happens when the price of one product is increases and people start using another product as a substitute. For example, if the price of steel rises, manufacturers may switch to the aluminium as an alternative material. Here is how this looks on a graph. When the price of product X, like steel, goes up from PX1 to the PX2, the demand for product Y, like aluminium, also increases from QY1 to the QY2. This shows that when one material becomes more expensive, businesses shift to using another material that can serve the same purpose. In summary, steel and aluminium are substitute goods, but the response to the price change is only moderate. This shows that while businesses will try to switch the material to save the cost, but it's not always a simple or a strong reaction.
Alright, so next is question 4. For question A, the formula to find price elasticity of supply are percentage change in quantity supplied over percentage change in price. When we substituting into the formula, which is 5% for change in quantity supplied and 12% for change in price, and the final value that we got is 0.42. Since the price elasticity supply is less than 1, this means supply of electronic goods is inelastic. Okay, so this is the shape supply curve for price elasticity for supply. At price P1, the quantity supply is Q2. When the price rises to P2, the quantity supply increases to Q2. This movement along the supply curve illustrates direct relationship between price and quantity supplied. P1 has increased to P2. When price rises from P1 to P2, quantity supply will increase from Q1 to Q2 which means big changes in price will lead to small changes in quantity supply. Moving on to the next one is factors affecting elasticity in manufacturing factors. According to the article, Malaysia's economy remains vulnerable to global volatility, meaning unexpected changes in global market can disrupt supply chains. When global uncertainty is high, manufacturers become cautious about increasing production, making supply more inelastic, which is less responsive to price changes. For example, during the COVID-19 pandemics, factories struggled with supply shortages and transport disruption, limiting their ability to scale production. Alright, so the second factor is decline in exports. This is due to weak global demand. Many of Malaysia's key trading partners, such as China and United States, are experiencing slower economic growth. China's uneven economic recovery has particularly affected Malaysia since China is a major buyer and supplier for Malaysian electronic goods and raw materials. When global demand weakens, manufacturers reduce production or maintain existing output rather than increasing supply. Then, decline in exports also happens due to fluctuations in currency and commodity prices. A weaker Malaysian ringgit makes imports more expensive, increasing production costs for manufacturing. Higher costs can lead to lower production levels, reducing the ability to respond quickly to changes in price.